You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
I have heard rumors that my Ohio State Buckeyes are going to do the blackout thing with their uniforms.
No.
Yes.
I always put Ohio State up there with, like, Alabama or Texas or,
Ohio, but black is a team color.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're jumping on a trend from, like, 1988 here. Come on.
This is one of those things where, I think the blame falls on the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
Because of that whiteout those whiteout things that they did during the playoffs, like the old Jets did. And it's like, you know what? If you hadn't done this, you wouldn't have given Nike that stupid idea.
Somebody else would have
There's no words there.
Huh?
done it. You know that.
You dropped out there for a second.
Somebody else would have done it.
Yeah, you're right.
I did?
No, you're back now. You're fine. We got you.
Okay.
I can't read it. There's no words
We're
on
being
it.
besieged by technical difficulties tonight.
Yeah, it's just
Are we doing this live or something?
We'll do it
Is
live.
that the problem?
my internet likes to drop out for like 5 seconds at a time sometimes. And then, of course, the stupid issue with my loose USB port.
Fucking thing
But,
sucks.
Not
like, I don't know. Like Ohio State, I always assumed that Ohio State was one of these like one of these schools that didn't need to resort to this sort of uniform gimmickry. But
Well, it's just a rumor at this point. It was basically, I guess ESPN was doing something where they were showing inside of coaches' offices or something along those lines.
Oh.
And they did Urban Meyer's office, and in the shot of the office was a picture with a couple of helmets where everything was black on the uniform, and I'm not happy about it, but I just figured,
I mean, they've done the pro combat uniforms, though.
Yeah, a couple of them have been okay. I think the first one they did was all right.
Well, I mean, you've described them as Christmas ornaments.
Well, the most recent one is, yeah. The thing that kills me about that uniform, the most recent one, is it looks really good in the Nike publicity shots. It looks awesome.
well, they all look good.
Yeah, and then you see it in practical application, and you go, my God, what a disaster.
I mean, anything can look good with like 5 Photoshop filters and a superhero pose.
This is true.
Well, yeah.
We are experiencing
Well, there he goes again.
difficulties.
To break off of the original Canada discussion in sports, though. No, what?
There's no words there.
Am I here?
Yes,
Yes,
you're
you
here
are.
now.
I can't read it. There's no words on it.
To break off the original Canada discussion with something sports related from it, the singing of "O Canada" in Edmonton, great. The singing of "O Canada" before the Penguins and Flyers game,
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome to
Yep.
see.
that was cool. And
Yeah.
and of course, I think Ottawa plays their first home game on Saturday. Since the thing, and they had their game against the Leafs canceled because the Leafs, for God's sake, they were in the hotel that was right next to this whole thing. So.
Yeah, no, like Leafs players said, like they heard and like even saw some of it. So
Wow.
That was wild. I can't I can't even I don't even know how you have a hockey game after that. But
It does give you a really good idea and of how suddenly things can seem so insignificant all of a sudden,
Yeah.
But
definitely. But
I heard some people arguing, like, if we don't play this game, the terrorists win. Like, come on, stop.
Well, like,
don't be those people, Canadians.
Like, what did Herman Edwards say? Like in 9/11, I distinctly remember after 9/11 happened and the NFL canceled the games that Sunday, and they asked Herman Edwards, who was the coach of the Jets at the time, and I distinctly remember him saying this. It's like, are you upset that they canceled the game? He's like, no, I'm not upset. It's like, you got better things to do. Go to church. And it's like, you know what? I liked Herman Edwards. Between that quote and "you play to win the game,"
You play
Yeah.
to win
Play.
the game.
Win the game.
You play
that's
to
right
win
up there
the
with
game.
playoffs.
So yeah, that'll be a site in Ottawa or Canada if you want to be.
Canada.
Really,
Canada.
that's the other thing. Is like some people who are like, the game's in Canada. It's not like it's in downtown.
wait, it's in what?
Kanata.
No, you're not just mispronouncing Canada. So you're talking. Okay.
Kanata, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
It was a suburb of Ottawa. Now it's technically part of Ottawa, but it's still in the suburbs, so it's not like downtown Ottawa.
It's I remember because we stayed just on the other side of the river, next to the baseball stadium in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And driving from our hotel through downtown to the game was like, are we really driving all the way out here?
Yeah,
like, where is this place?
It's technically part of Ottawa, but it's still very much a suburb. So, there is a very distinct line where, like, okay, we're no longer in the city of Ottawa anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, for God's sakes, the parking lot's gravel.
Just to go back to the whole if we don't play the game, it's Harris one thing. I don't think that canceling a game or two here or there, that's not waving a white flag of surrender. It's just basically giving people time to kind of get their shit back together. And just
their idea is that like we should just continue on with our normal day of life. It's like
that's disrespectful. I think
that isn't a normal day of life at that point.
No.
That's not.
And
that shouldn't have even been a concern from the start. But there are dumb people.
But I did want to say major props to the Penguins and the Flyers. That was really awesome to see.
It pains me to give the Philadelphia Flyers credit for anything, but
this was in Pittsburgh.
I know, but they were involved.
So you don't have to.
Good. Then I'm not going to.
I liked the. I did like that's a neat thing they have in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I assume
the digital mic flag.
The digital.
Yeah,
mic
that was cooler than shit.
I assume they do that for every game, but I'd obviously just. I don't watch a lot of Penguins home games.
I've never seen one of those before. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, "Bro, that's really cool."
I mean, you can put porn on that, whatever you want. It'd be really something. How great would that be if he's? I mean, he's singing. Let's just say any given game, he's singing the national anthem, and there's like some 2-on-2 lesbian action going on or something.
There's nothing more American, Greg.
I'm telling you.
But speaking of that Penguins game,
yes.
How about those Penguins unis?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Busted out the black and gold. Black and gold Pittsburgh.
Who did I see? Someone said that they liked the current look better than the black and gold.
Oh, that would be Giant Pacific Octopus.
Was that really?
Yeah.
The Octopus said that.
Yeah, the Octopus
The only thing, there is, somebody mentioned there's like a little incongruity between the stripes on the jersey compared to like the stripes on the socks and the pants. And I can see it a little bit. There needs to be some refinements to it. It is still very much 80s hockey jersey.
See, yeah. I'm one of the few people who likes 80s design. Like, I mean, some of general aesthetic.
Like, I like the Oilers. The Oilers works. The Islanders work.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Penguins jerseys needs to be toned down just a little.
Yeah,
that'd be perfect.
I could live with a few tweaks here and there, but all in all, but big picture, like this is how the Pittsburgh Penguins should look.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had forgotten because like since the early 2000s, they've been wearing essentially black and khaki.
Yeah.
And seeing that's like wow. That's what the Penguins
it looks fantastic. It just looks awesome.
And the Penguins are aware of it. Like there's that rumor that Mario doesn't like that shade of gold, so that's why they don't wear it.
He won 2 Stanley Cups wearing that shade of gold.
But apparently people are buying this stuff up in droves. So
and there was a shot of the of like the team store in the arena, and it was like Pittsburgh Gold returns.
Yeah. Well,
so
if you call something Pittsburgh Gold and you're a Pittsburgh team, does it not make sense for you to wear
and every other Pittsburgh team wears that same?
Yeah, I mean it's just so obvious when they show like because people will wear Pirates hats or Steelers jerseys at Penguins games and they always stick out because
they stick out. Yeah,
because you see the difference between that and the beige. It's supposed to be gold, but the Vegas gold. The Ducks went through this issue too. The Vegas gold doesn't work when it's not the shiny material.
Yeah, they used the old CCM jerseys had that shiny fabric.
Right, when they initially introduced it, it was shiny, and it was actually gold, and you could tell the difference. But once they went to the edge and you have to fix some of the stripes, it goes from that shiny gold material to regular jersey material, and it's khaki. It's not great.
And it's even worse. I'd say it's even worse because at least with the Ducks, it's just like some stripes here and there. But
yeah, and now it's been even marginalized in favor of the orange too, which is good.
But in the Penguins, it's even worse because they've got that click and fill template.
Yeah.
So you've got these big splotches of just flat khaki.
And speaking of which, we could have been blessed with a third or fourth team wearing that template. There's the prototype of the Vancouver Canucks in their old colors.
Yeah,
in that same jersey style as Pittsburgh and Ottawa and the original Tampa jerseys.
I'm looking at those. I'm with Zach. I think the stripes could be fixed a little bit on this, but other than that, God Almighty, that's a gorgeous uniform. Yeah, I mean, it's just a few tweaks here and there, but that's all.
Like that is the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah, it's one of those cases where they've been bland for so long. I actually kind of had the same reaction when I saw the Edmonton Oilers throwbacks. I mean,
yeah,
I barely even remembered the Oilers in regular royal blue and orange. Vague memories of them before they switched to navy. Right. But for most of my hockey watching,
they've been navy blue, copper, and that stupid red outline.
That stupid salmon red outline they outlined all the copper with for some reason.
Yeah, it looked awful.
But once the Oilers came out with like the Gretzky era throwbacks, I'm like, no, okay, that settles it. This is what the Edmonton Oilers should look like.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are awesome. They just look great, and they look good against the Flyers too. But I think we talked about this before. The Flyers uniforms, if you see them in person, they don't look as good as they do in pictures. It's weird.
It's a really faded shade of orange.
Yeah, they need to, because the original, like the ones that they wore in the 70s were like a darker orange, weren't they?
I don't remember.
I think they were. I get the distinct feeling, and this is just basic speculation. I get the distinct feeling that when they went to the throwback look, they might have based it off some faded pictures.
Yeah,
it's possible. Yeah,
that's completely possible. I would assume they wouldn't have changed the shade of orange when they went into the 80s and into the 90s when they
for my money, the Flyers never looked better than during the Lindros years. I never liked it when that black jersey became the primary, but
I remember my exact complaint with these. Mm-hmm. The sleeves on each of them have too much of the opposite color.
I never minded that.
When they're wearing the white jersey, they look too orange, and when they're wearing the orange jersey, they look too white. So when they're playing, against a team with a colored jersey or a white jersey, it always looked weird to me.
I don't think I would be a fan of the black alternates being a full-time look, but I didn't think they were that bad.
But the problem was they did make them the full-time look.
I'm talking today.
Now, but of course, we all know this is the iconic Flyers look that they dare not, switch from.
The Cooperalls.
The Cooperalls, yes.
Oh, you know this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the jerseys. I didn't see the Cooperalls.
Yeah, no, the Cooperalls.
Yeah.
Although that one time where they added like the 3D silver Flyer logo was
that was bad too.
That was quintessential early 2000s Web 2.0 design. Like, let's add gradients and silver bevels to everything. That'll look great.
Speaking of uniforms, I picked up a Blue Jackets road jersey the other day at TJ Maxx for $40. I was very happy about that. Very pleased.
The white one?
Yeah, I walked in, and this is the weird part. All day I'm like, I need to go to TJ Maxx today because I've just got this hunch they've got some hockey gear. And I walk in, and they're hanging in front of me like two shining beacons on the horizon are two Jackets road jerseys. And I go up there, my size, and I said, okay, what's the price? $40. I grabbed one, and I was out the door, man, just like that. Couldn't pass it up.
The Blue Jackets have a good set. My only complaint is that the piping along the hem is a bit minuscule. Like, I'd like to see them with proper hem stripes, but other than that, I like them.
No, those are – I think it's something that McCarthy mentioned too, that those are jerseys that they could wear for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I don't think we'd ever get bored with them. Whereas like the third jersey that they have, it's probably time to phase that out of existence.
You think?
But, I think it's been around a little too long.
I don't know. I really like it. I really like the look.
It's nice, but it's going on its fourth year of use now. And it's like,
Yeah, and in terms of third jerseys, around 4 or 5 years is when it either becomes the new primary or just goes away entirely.
Because it was in the middle of that double blue
round L. That's the thing, yeah.
It's the double blue it's the roundel, it's the vintage white, it's the squared off numbers. It's fine. It's a decent jersey. I like its existence, but it kind of needs. I think it's outlived its usefulness.
The only complaint I would have about the Blue Jackets home and road is the number font. Copperplate number font.
It could be better. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, copperplate.
And I think. And I think the road jerseys could use blue pants instead of red ones, but
I see. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I've seen the mock-ups and they look good, but I don't. But like contrasting pants in hockey has never been a thing. So
it's never been bad.
Except that one time the Flyer where the Capitals were white. But
does anybody?
It's just they look too rangery at that point. That's all.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it.
The same division.
But has anybody ever done this navy blue and done like the same color pants too? Because that just seems like an awful lot of blue to me.
No, that's yeah. You can make the home pants still need to be red. You just have to have road pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe blue with the white jerseys wouldn't look bad. I don't think.
No, the blue pants with the white jersey would be fine. But you can do the blue pants with the home jerseys. It'd be too much.
Right.
Even though they're Blue Jackets, they could be as blue as they want to be, I guess.
They're playing a New Year's Eve game this year, which I think we're going to go to, which should be fun.
Oh, fantastic. Bring in the New Year.
Got some fat fans now. We're having a New Year's Eve game. We're getting right with the program here, man.
Yeah, I mean, really, you just need to that fat fan thing really. It was the initiation. The Blue Jackets are a true Ohio team now.
To be perfectly honest, though, the Blue Jackets still need a few more years of heartbreak and despair in the playoffs before they went through the really sucky stages of being a completely bad team, but they need their hearts ripped out a few more times. Yeah, as much as I love the beach.
Yeah, last year was just a big party. I mean, no one expected anything to happen, so there really wasn't any heartbreak. It was just kind of like, hey, that was fun. Maybe we'll do better next year.
Or if they really want to do it, I guess they do have to have some success, and then have it ripped away slowly.
If you want to be an Ohio team, what you have to do is you have to either be like in the conference finals, lose in overtime. Or better yet, not only do you lose in overtime, but you lose because you scored in your own goal in overtime. That would be perfectly Ohio for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson goes to get the puck and accidentally knocks it into the net. That's how it would end.
And then Bobrovsky breaks his ankle trying to stop it.
Exactly, yeah. And he's never the same after that. And pretty much, right on down the line.
I saw an interesting NFL story.
Oh, you saw an NFL story,
Mike.
By the way, before we transition to the NFL away from hockey, real quick, I just want to let everyone know that in the first matchup of the two Titans of the Eastern or the old Eastern Conference rivals of last year, the Thunder Bay Bolts defeated the Montreal Maroons quite convincingly, 7-2-1 this week.
While we're talking about that, I want to know what the hell happened to Tuukka Rask.
The guy's been Boston regressed, like I said they would. Boston regressed.
Well, that's fine. They can
trying to figure it out. That's all.
That's fine. They can regress all they want, but he can't because he's my number one goalie. The guy's been a freaking sieve, man. He gave up 3 to the Islanders tonight, and I think it was only in the second period before we started the show.
The Isles are a good team this year.
The Leafs beat the Isles 5-2. Leafs beat the Isles. I'm very happy about that.
I know that my
Phil
goal...
Kessel had a hat trick, I'll have you know.
My goal diggers, I thought were going to be improved this year, but right now we're 0-2, and it's not looking good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're in a tight one here with Hamilton.
Tied with Hamilton.
You're both 0-2, so.
Yeah,
I'm in a tight one with my thorn in my side, Kansas City.
But
followed me back to the West.
On the NFL, no. I'm still boycotting the NFL. But over the course of my day watching SportsCenter or Sportsnet, I am privy to the NFL news stories that pop up over the course of these programs.
Okay.
And I was informed that apparently Russell Wilson is not black enough.
Yeah, I was listening to that before we came on tonight.
Apparently he and RG3 have, more in common than just being, Russian quarterbacks in the same class.
But he's not a cornball brother, though, so he's got some hope, whereas RG3 was a cornball brother.
He's not black enough.
Right. I don't even understand what that means.
I'm not one to judge anyone's blackness. I don't know if that's within my pay grade. But if I was allowed to make rulings on such things, I would maybe agree.
I won't go that route. I don't know.
Is he ethnically of African descent?
I think he's.
Is he from a mixed marriage? Maybe.
I think.
Okay, then
he is very light-skinned, but...
Then he's got some black in him.
Do you fault these people that say they're 1% Cherokee, that they're not Native American enough?
I fault them.
Well, but that's the thing. That's like people who are like 1% Cherokee. If he's 50% African, then that's a different kind of ball game.
I don't know if I want to go that he's not black enough, but he's way more corporate than he probably should be. That I would agree with.
He's very measured.
Exactly.
What he tries to do.
Yeah, very measured. That I'd agree with. As far as being black enough, I don't know what being black enough is.
That's the thing. It's a cultural thing. And kind of where I come from on this, if some Orthodox Jew told me, like, I wasn't Jewish enough because I tend to enjoy shellfish, I'd tell them to go fuck themselves.
You're so shellfish, Mike.
Oh. We should just end the show on that. I don't know. I mean, screw them. I hope they lose the rest of the games that they play this year. So if being not black enough is a reason to make them lose, I'm all for it.
You play to win the game.
But I don't know. I don't even know what black enough means. I guess
it's not something that we're at all qualified
right.
to talk about.
No, I don't think any of us are really qualified to make a judgment on that, really. But
really, we're. I mean, if we were to judge whiteness, I think we're pretty white.
Well, see, now that's something we can do, though. So I would say that as far as
how white is Russell
He's
Wilson?
pretty white. He's pretty white. I got to agree with that.
He's very milquetoast.
Yeah, he's corporate, and I guess I heard that he carries around 3 tuxedos in the back of his car just in case he ever needs it.
Oh, that just makes him a douchebag.
Well, yeah, what's he, like Superman? He's going to bust out his tux and go James Bond mode on somebody, or what? I don't know.
I don't carry around emergency tuxedos with me.
Have you heard, Mike, that Zach is now working in the offices of the Orange County Register?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I'm doing prestigious things like answering phone calls from high school coaches and filling out box scores.
Do the high school coaches at least call you back now?
Well, no, they call into the line, and I answer it very professionally. Sports. Because I didn't know how to answer the phone, so it was just I would let the other guys take a couple calls first, and all I do is sports. Okay. What school? Okay. How many stats? Okay. And, you get volleyball scores, like sports. Yeah, hi, I'd like to report the scores for Trabuco Hills, Mission Viejo. All right, what are the scores? Trabuco Hills swept 25 in each game, and Mission Viejo went 19-14-14. Any stats? Lisa had 14 kills. Okay, records? 5-2. Okay, thanks. And that's it. That's pretty much it.
Do you get to put
But I did get to watch the World Series in a sports department newsroom, so.
Hey, that's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
there was some guy on the other side of the newsroom that him and the other guy were talking about the Canadians Red Wings game the whole time, and I'm like, I want to sit by them. I can't hear. Yeah, that was a sweet goal by Pavel Datsyuk that got called back. I know, right?
Oh man, no, that was a wild game actually. God,
yeah, it was.
God, I don't the Canadians are going to fall apart sooner or later, but it's fun watching them.
Yeah, no, they're interesting. At the least.
They're winning, but sooner or later the wheels are going to fall off. But until that happens,
very tenuous.
But speaking of the World Series. You know what? Everyone who complained that these aren't the 2 best teams can go fuck off because, okay, yeah, both games have been blowouts, but I have thoroughly enjoyed this postseason, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this World Series at the moment.
Yeah, it's. I really thought after Game 1, I thought that you guys had predicted it correctly with that the Giants would show up and just steamroll them.
Yeah.
But when they came back and won big last night, I think we're going to have ourselves a pretty good series here.
I mean, I think when I made that prediction, I was kind of thinking of the Giants in terms of being an NL powerhouse. But if you actually look at where they were this season, the Giants, the Royals actually have home field advantage for a reason because they were the higher-seeded wildcard team in the AL. The Giants wouldn't have even made the playoffs under the old playoff system.
We get the Royals get home field advantage because the prestigious American League.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that stupid.
Knocked off those lowly National Leaguers.
I forgot about that stupid
in the
rule.
game that we all care about.
Yeah. Okay, scratch that. But my point still stands that the Royals were still the higher seed. So, when
the Royals, I think they were 8-2 against the National League during the.
They were. So, it's not like this. It's not like this Giants team was the this powerhouse that we had seen in the last 2 even-numbered years in 2010 and 2012.
The thing about it that struck me that I didn't even realize is the Royals had only scored like 6 runs in their last however many games.
Yeah.
And very few of them came via the base hit. It was errors and stuff like that. But if they find their bats and keep hitting, I don't know. It's a crazy series, but...
Well, the thing is they play like the traditional National League style of play. Singles and steals and hit and runs and all that sort of stuff. So,
we were talking about the best team stuff and all that. I think the solution, if you want to make everybody quiet down about all this,
we're not doing the 21-game series.
Well, but how long would that take? I mean, Jesus.
I think we'd still be in the first round. We'd still be watching the Cardinals and the Dodgers.
Mr. December.
But, yeah, really. The Cardinals are going right from game 20 here to spring training. The solution.
Isn't that how they do it in NASCAR? There's like a month off.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
NASCAR is way too long anyway, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But that's just the season lasts way too long.
I think baseball works is fine the way it is. Honestly.
Well, last week you were talking about how we needed to change it and go to the soccer system.
Not to the straight soccer system, but to the old baseball system of two division champions play each other and that.
Well, see, I spent all week thinking about it, thinking I was going to help you out here, then you tell me you're fine with it.
I pulled up some interesting stats. So the modern World Series dates back to 1903, correct?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that was the first one, I believe, right?
But technically it wasn't.
Greg, how was that one?
You're funny.
But technically speaking, the World Series dates back actually to the 1880s, like the first attempts at a World Series.
A World Series between the two champions of the major leagues.
It was the American Association and the National League, But here's the thing: these early World Series were very disorganized. They were almost like exhibition matchups. Like there is no organization. I pulled this up: the 1887 World Series between the Detroit Wolverines of the National League and the St. Louis Browns of the American Association.
Yeah, the Detroit Wolverines and the St. Louis Browns here for the World Series, a championship matchup between the two champions of the major baseball leagues in North America.
It was, but get this. Because these series were so disorganized, the 1887 was played. It was a 15-game series.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a 15-game series.
Long, yeah.
Wasn't
then they went from best of 15. They went down to best of 9.
Yeah, I think the first World Series in 1903 was actually a best of 9.
Yeah.
The World Series, it was won by the Detroit Wolverines over the St. Louis Browns 10-5.
First to 10 wins. I was like, what? No. Wait, if it's a 15-game series, that means they played all of them.
Yeah.
No matter what?
Because, like I said, it was just an exhibition.
It wasn't even a best of. It was just go play 15 games.
Go play 15 games.
Yeah, it was just like it was so disorganized. Like it doesn't even seem like the leagues themselves ran it. It's just like, okay, well, our champions are the Wolverines. Well, our champions are the Browns. Well, okay, go play baseball until you're tired of it. And then
you got to give the
well, we've won more games, so I guess we're the champions.
You got to give the Wolverines credit. I mean, after they clinched it at 8 games, they still won 2 more. I mean, they really had nothing to play for at that point.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see the Royals win. That's and the only way that can happen is if we have this kind of system.
But you know what? There was discussion about this in the thread too. Despite the not having a salary cap or complaining about this whatever, we've had more parity than we've ever had in baseball in terms of teams winning or teams making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean the Kansas City Royals are playing for the world. The Kansas City Royals, guys.
Yeah.
In the same postseason the Pirates were in, too.
Yeah. And the former Expos.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely mind-boggling because, 10 years ago, everyone thought it was just going to be New York, Philly, Boston, and L.A. because they could just afford to outspend everyone.
Right, but then you look and you see the Yankees start to suck.
The Yankees
Mets
suck
in the
now.
tank. And the Phillies are in the tank. and the Cubs are in the tank, and the White Sox are in the tank.
Well, and the Red Sox, they're gloriously terrible.
And the Angels were in the tank not too long ago.
I'll have you know that the Phillies are on their way back. They signed Grady Sizemore today to add more outfield depth. Yeah.
How much money are they still paying Ryan Howard?
I felt, yeah.
But it's gone to the point where, like, 10 years ago, people were like, we need a salary cap because there's no hope otherwise for these smaller or mid-sized markets. And now the economic model has remained unchanged, but here we are.
I think it's been proven more often than not that buying a championship team, while it sounds good in theory, is very difficult to do.
Yep.
Those Yankees teams that won in the late 90s and the early 2000s, those weren't just free agent crazy teams. There was a lot of homegrown talent on those teams, and they would pick a guy here and there to help us supplement what they already had.
The guys that they were paying the most money were the guys that they had grown themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
Once the Yankees started to reach outside the organization and pay for a lot of guys,
that's when they went downhill.
Right. I mean, they won the one championship in what, 09, 10?
Right, in 09.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's their only championship since losing to the Diamondbacks in 2001.
Yep.
And we're all better for it.
Yeah. As I was listening to basically a football show, as you guys mentioned, the Blackhawks have more wins
in Soldier Field than
Soldier
the Bears.
Field.
And the way the Bears are playing, that might hold for a while.
And the Bears have more losses than the Pittsburgh Penguins do.
Who was it? Was it Brian Urlacher came out? I think it was today, and he didn't have
Cutler.
He really didn't have a lot of good things to say. But it was one of those. Now I don't want to say anything bad about the guy, but
I don't want to say anything bad about the guy, but he's a piece of shit, and I hate him.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of football, Mike, your San Diego Superchargers down at the half, 14-7 to Denver. A third week in a row here with a competitive Thursday night game.
Like I said, I'm not watching the NFL, so.
Well, I'm just saying they're in this one.
Yeah,
If you want, Mike, it's probably on Canadian television.
Oh, I know where it's probably on TSN right now, but I'm not putting it on. Like I said, I will keep this promise.
Peyton Manning hasn't been arrested for cockfighting yet, so
I mean,
it's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time before
It's just a matter of time
before he's arrested for cockfighting, and Tom Brady's arrested for that white slavery ring he's running out of his basement.
Well, because once we're on it, it's just a matter of time before the regular media catches up and the whole thing breaks.
Because when you need your hard-breaking stories, you come to basically a sports show.
Well,
exactly.
It should be noted that when the Ray Rice thing happened, and we're like, what if this happened to Adrian Peterson? And then...
Well, we did do that.
Yeah, but like I said last week, and I will stick by this, I will end my boycott of the NFL if the Chargers make it the Super Bowl. And if it turns out to be like Chargers Cardinals, then I can't not watch. So.
Well, that's not really out of the realm of possibility at this point.
At that point, it's the Mike Bowl. So
yeah, because the Cardinals are looking really good too. Speaking of, I picked up Carson Palmer for one of my fantasy teams. That's how bad a shape I'm in at quarterback. Thanks for nothing, Jay Cutler and Matt Ryan. What the hell was I thinking on that deal?
I think you mentioned how you thought he looked like a really nice guy in the HBO series.
Yeah,
so.
he did. He is a nice guy, but you know what? I'm in this for blood. I don't need you to be a nice guy.
Okay, speaking of morally ambiguous decisions, do we want to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels?
Oh, geez. What the hell's going on with that?
So, maybe I was mistaken, but I was under the impression that University of North Carolina was, in fact, a institute of higher learning.
And supposedly
Apparently,
a pretty good one.
I was mistaken.
Yeah, this is the thought process, sure, yeah. They are a accredited university, right?
I think I want to say that they're in at least the top 20 in public universities in the country.
Wasn't it last year? Like I found that paper that somebody had written for like the African American studies.
Yeah.
And it was from North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
It was from North Carolina. It was a North Carolina basketball player, and it was on a Thursday in December. Rosa Parks was like, "Let me sit at the back of the bus,
right
at the front of the bus," and then the driver was like, "I'm going to call the police." And Rosa Parks was like, "Why do you have to put us down?" And the bus driver was like, "It's the law." And that was the extent of the paper.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, you're right. It was a North Carolina player. It sure was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's like, I guess in context of that, this isn't surprising. Wasn't the Department of African American Studies specifically pointed out in the story as being one of the worst offenders within the university?
Yeah, I believe so. Because it's one of those things where, again, not to draw racial stereotypes, but unfortunately, some of these guys come from not the best backgrounds, so maybe they're not the smartest kids. Some of them,
not the best educated, is the way I would put it.
Sure.
I mean, they can be very smart, but just not well educated. So I don't want to make it sound like they're just dumb. I mean,
right. But it doesn't surprise me that a university athletic department would work its way to try and funnel some of these kids all into the same program, and all give them the same breaks, so that they can continue to have a football team or a basketball team, while all at the same time saying, "No, we graduate 10% of our athletes."
But, you're right, though. I mean, and again, I don't mean this to sound racist, and I don't think it is racist, but the fact remains that there is a percentage of black athletes that come up through the system where they're not in the best schools, they're not the best educated, and it's just the way it goes, I don't know what point I was trying to make with that, so now I just completely sound like a racist because I just said that for no fucking reason, but...
That shit ain't funny, motherfucker.
Well, but it's an unfortunate truth, is what it is. I mean, there's plenty of statistics and facts to back it up, and I
don't like it. I wish it was not like that at all.
Nobody likes it,
yeah.
and I could go find them right now. It's not like they're hard to come by.
Yeah,
but but this just maybe it's me kind of Canadian perspective, because college sports, university sports aren't a big thing up here.
Yeah.
But Christ, I thought isn't the whole point to be a school first? Isn't this supposed to be okay? Aren't the basketball program, the football program, aren't they technically supposed to be extracurricular activities?
Well, in theory, yes, but
but they make too much money now.
Yeah, I mean,
anything other.
It just seems like, because this is not this isn't just something that you could say, oh, it's confined to the academic department. This is a department-wide problem.
It's just too much money. That's the thing. But
the school is fundamentally failing in what its primary mission statement should be.
In a sense, yes, but in another sense, it's not, because the basketball program, especially at North Carolina, that funnels things from a lot of different areas, because they've got name recognition and it drives the bus on a lot of other areas of the school. The money that comes in and all that. It's the same with an Ohio State or Alabama, Notre Dame. I mean, they're failing in one sense, but they're succeeding wildly in another. So I guess it's a matter of, are you willing to trade off some of your academic integrity for what you can bring in?
Well, I guess the academic integrity thing comes into it. It's so at what point do we question their credibility, and at what point does accreditation become an issue?
Well, that's a good question.
At what point do we start talking about revoking that?
That's a good question.
I don't think it gets down that far of the road, because this is the athletic department. It's not the entirety of the school. And as far as I can tell, just by skimming the article real quick, it seems like most of this was within that African American Studies department. Mm-hmm. That department was basically set up as a front for the athletes to get automatic grades or easy classes or things like that.
And it keeps their eligibility alive too,
right?
Because you got to have the GPA. I don't think it's a very tough one to get, but
this also brings up the fact of why, if some of these guys are brought to these schools to play sports and only play sports, why do we even bother with the student athlete thing?
Well, that's
why are they not just school sponsored teams
and they're just employees of the university?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up about this whole nonsense of the college student athlete thing. The rule is that these athletes are not supposed to have advantages that a regular student wouldn't have, right? Isn't that the theory behind it?
Yeah, right.
Explain to me how being flown on a chartered jet from, say, Columbus, Ohio to Austin, Texas to play the Longhorns, that's not something that every student at that university can do. Having your own set of dorms, the sports dorms, having your own weight room, come on. How is that?
No, and the athletes get first shot at classes too.
Exactly, and there's a lot of things that they have. So
no, they get enough advantages as it is. So we've always known that whole thing is a sham.
how many students were involved in the thing at North Carolina?
3,100.
Oh, okay, that's a lot. Okay,
over 20 years though.
Oh, okay. So what would that come out to per year? About, let's say, what?
I'm pulling up my calculator right now.
Would that be like
3,100
like 160 a year? No.
divided by
that's about
20. 155 a year.
A year out of a university.
47% of that 31,000 or 3,100 were student athletes. Even though student athletes make up just over 4% of the Chapel Hill student body.
Mm-hmm.
Of the student athlete enrollments, 50% were football players, 12% basketball, men's basketball, 6% women's basketball, and 30% were Olympic and other sports.
I just don't think that – I don't know how many students are at North Carolina, but I got to think it's probably in the 20,000 range. Mm-hmm. So in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty small percentage of the overall student population. But I don't know what you do. I don't know. Short of just saying, okay, you know what? The NCAA, goodbye. It was nice knowing you, but that's it. I don't know how you fix it other than that. I don't even know if it needs to be fixed.
Is there a chance that we see a death penalty here? 20 years of this going on.
Ooh. After the way they literally destroyed SMU with the only time they've ever implemented the death penalty, I don't know that they're going to be as quick to go to that again.
Right, and they did that with just the football program.
Right.
Whereas this is something that, as I read through the thing, it affected all the sports at some point or another. I'm sure there's going to be heavy sanctions.
Oh, yeah,
in terms of scholarships and things of that nature. But because it's such a widespread thing, they couldn't issue a singular death penalty unless you want to punish the entire athletic department and say you can't play any sports for one full year.
Yeah, and then you know what North Carolina does? They say, screw you. They go join the NAIA and dominate and everything for however long. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs! That's fantastic.
And the golden mic for best podcast producer goes to Greg.
I could fix that in an edit, but it would be funnier if I didn't, so I won't. All right.
Yeah, let's leave it like that. Sorry.
Well, he's cutting in and out.
I stumbled upon the most Canadian radio station on the planet. Live from Timmins, Ontario, it's 93.1 The Moose, your number one source for local news, information, and great...
It's been like the old days when we were live.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, well, let's just make fun of our technical difficulties and call it a night. The tabs, which were brought to you by the internet, we had numerous issues with.
Yeah,
missed a great Canadian rant by Zach, which is just, I think, a crime.
Nobody heard it except for me and maybe my roommates if they can hear me through the walls. Just look up 93.1 The Moose and do what you will with Timmins, Ontario's finest radio program.
I think that's the greatest radio station name ever, The Moose. Come on. Well, anyway, we're going to wrap it up. We will see you again on Tuesday for basically a football show. Mike already has a new episode of Bags done, I'm taking it?
Yes, we recorded it last night, so I'll get that to you probably tomorrow morning before I head off to work.
Okay.
You should do a emergency segment with Jack on the Age of Ultron trailer.
I actually wanted to do that, but I couldn't get a hold of him today, so I'll see if I can catch him.
And, big things in the trailer. Big things.
Indeed. Hulkbuster
armor.
Hulkbuster.
I plan on running Captain America: The Winter Soldier this weekend and watching it. So
you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't. Is it good? Is it worth my time?
I finally watched it last week.
How is it? Okay, Mike, how is it?
I thought it was good. I would have.
It's fine. I don't know. I thought that nobody responded, so I thought that I went away for a second. I don't know what's happening, guy.
I thought Robert Redford was interesting in it.
We ask you a question, and then you start to answer it, and then, like I said, it's like somebody's messing with you, like pulling the plug out.
Well, I'm sitting right here.
Oh, well, anyway, so we will have more shows coming down the pipeline here. Just go to the website and all that stuff, and we'll see you all next time right here on Basically a Sports Show, hopefully without all the technical issues.
Bye.
See ya.